whoosh, man, more busted cards. I thought yesterday was ridiculous, and it was. But today, there's a lot more busted. Like, what the heck are they thinking printing this stuff? Because it's that powerful. We're going to break down the IKORIA Lair of Behemoths. All IKORIA spoilers, no commander. We're going to jump into it. First, I got a huge correction on the Ozolith. I was overzealous, to say the least. And yeah, made a huge mistake here. Using Ozolith with Azur's Elocutors is not going to allow you to put a bunch of filibusters. I was calling them filibusters. Owner of the LGS I go to frequently gave me a call. He's like, dude, filibusters? Really? Like, I thought that was hilarious. So hats off to Chris for correcting me there on the filibusters. But as far as that goes, the filibusters don't work with the filibusters don't work with the Ozolith as planned. So you can't just outright win the game and a creature dies and take these and throw them on top of the Elocutors. But I'm sure there's a way where these two can pair and become something that is rather broke, you know, and you can easily stack them together. But moving forward, so yeah, you can't do that. You don't just win the game like that, okay? It doesn't work that way. Offspring's Revenge. Let's just dive right into the spoilers, guys. Thanks for tuning in. I'm really excited today. It's nice weather out, and everything's just grand and hunky-dory. I got to kill the 20 pounds I gained over the winter, you know what I'm saying? All right, so Offspring's Revenge is a 5-drop enchantment. At the beginning of combat, on your turn, exile target red, white, or black creature card from a graveyard. Cool. Create a token that's a copy of that card, except it's 1/1. It gains haste until your next turn. Really? A 1/1 with haste, you don't say. The only good, okay, this card is really not that good. We already have the 4/4 flyer that does the exact same thing minus the haste. And it's got a 4/4 body with flying on it. Now this thing is an enchantment that is pretty good. Okay, I'll give it that. But I just think it's a little too much to ask, you know? I don't think it's the greatest card. I think it's good, but I think it's better for, like, mutate and helping in that sense. Rather, you know, like, this is like mutate support at its finest, you could say, okay? But outside of that, I mean, if you're not looking at it to do the whole mutate thing, this card is not that great. I'd rather run the flying 4/4 over this thing. But nonetheless, still a pretty nice card. Then we have Zenith Flare and Sanctuary Smasher. All right, Zenith Flare on the left here. 4-drop, Zenith Flare deals X damage to any target, and you gain X life, where X is the number of cards with a cycling ability in your graveyard. So again, really pushing the whole cycling theme. And why the heck not? You know, really cool. But also, you know what they're pushing is the first strike, baby. Oh, yes. Now, this is a 6-drop Rhino Beast. It's not that great, but it does have first strike, and I'm really pumped about this because I wanted to build a deck around first strike cards, and we're getting more and more and more first strike cards, which I think is just smashing. No pun intended, huh? It does have the cycling for 3, so you can discard and draw a card. That's great, but when you cycle Sanctuary Smasher, put a first strike counter on a creature you control. So not only does this have first strike, but if we were to cycle it, we can give something else first strike. Maybe something that's really, really, really powerful, you know, with that lifelink or something nutty, you know, or a trample as well. So Smasher, I think, is a fun card. It's probably going to be very limited play. Of course, you know, you're not going to see this outright competing in any deck in standard. Not going to happen, but cool card. Then we have Zirda, the Dawnwaker. Oh, yes. Now, this is a fun little card here. 3-drop. Look at that Elemental Wolf. Pretty sweet art, man. Elementals, watch out. We'll get to that elemental talk in a minute, but elementals might be making a comeback, baby. We also have, it's a legendary creature, elemental. It's a companion. Now, in the beginning, companions weren't looking so hot. They seemed kind of weak sauce, but then we started getting more and more powerful cards would have companion in it, you know, and they seem like they may be viable decks in standard, so pretty exciting. Also, even in commander or something, you know. So companion, each permanent card in your starting deck has an activated ability. It's pretty sweet. So activated abilities are like something over here like on Kenrith the Returned King. The good thing about this, abilities you activate that aren't mana abilities cost 2 less to activate. I think I did that wrong. Maybe no, that aren't mana abilities. No, they're not. Okay, yeah, sure. This effect can't reduce the mana in that cost to less than 1 mana. So you would be reducing, I know that sounds really funny, doesn't it? That aren't mana abilities. You can reduce the mana cost by 2, but you can't reduce it to less than 1. So this would be pretty ideal here. So you can't just get something out for absolutely zip, you know, and maybe in certain situations. I'm not sure. No, I think it's pretty verbatim. Don't want to confuse anyone here. I do that often. So Kenrith the Return King and something like Dawnwaker would be a fun little synergy here. You know, you can reduce a bunch of casting costs, but you're going to want to run a bunch of other stuff around it, you know. But very, very cool card. And the awesome thing, for 1, target creature can't block this turn. So you can remove a creature from blocking for 1 turn. That's not bad, you know. You can easily lock out a game that way and just close it, you know. But it's a nice little added perk on the card. That's something pretty cool. Now, we're going to get into the busted cards in just a minute. We're getting there. We got to go over some other stuff. Because a lot of people, a lot of other YouTubers, they don't cover all these uncommons and stuff and common cards. And I want to let you guys all know what's all out there. So I do talk about them, all right? We have on the left here, Keen Sight Mentor. It's a 3-drop. Enters the battlefield. Put a vigilance counter on non-human creature you control. Legit. For Deuce, tap it. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control at vigilance. Again, splashing a whole bunch of +1/+1, man, and then with some proliferate mixed up in there, you got a really dangerous kind of deck here. I'm not sure it's going to be competitive, but pretty cool. Then we have Alert Heed Bond. Look at that guy. I thought he was blowing a trumpet at first, but then I realized he's got red hair, and that's cool, because so do I. Redhead lives matter. And also, he's looking through a spyglass, it appears, because he's a human scout. For Vigilance, at the beginning of your end step, you gain 1 life for each creature you control with Vigilance. They are pushing certain, like, ability cards, like with the Vigilance, the First Strike, you know, like the cycling, like they're pushing certain mechanics. They're really, really pushing the crap out of them. Cool little card, nothing too crazy though. It's got the hybrid casting. Anyway, moving forward. Then we have Jagantha, the Wellspring. Now, this would be great with like something like Niv Mizzet Reborn. They just go to get you, it pays for it. You tap it and you just pay for Niv Mizzet Reborn. Very interesting, the Wellspring. I'm not sure how exactly powerful it is. It seems like it could be something to be reckoned with, okay? It has companion. No card in your starting deck has more than 1 of the same mana symbol in its mana cost. So that takes out like your Cavalier of Flames. You know, it takes out your anything that has if it has 2 of the same mana cost in its, you know, casting, like your beast Whisperer could be in there. The other beast that has 4/4 and Death Touch and Vigilance, that can't be in there. Anything with the 2 mana casting symbols cannot be in the deck. But outside of that, man, it's a pretty fun little card to run a synergy around. Pretty interesting stuff. Not one of the broken cards, but still pretty interesting. This card is pretty nuts. And the other card is very similar. That is completely, it seems it's busted. But these are like really geared more towards Commander. Emergent Ultimatum is a 7-drop. Pretty massive. But it's a sorcery. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards with different names and exile them. An opponent chooses one of those cards. Shuffle that card into your library. You may cast the other cards without paying their mana costs. Exile Emergent Ultimatum. There are some very, very large creatures in Magic that have very large casting costs, you know, and they're monocolored. Really, really slick. So this would allow you to do something like that, or just some very extremely powerful spells that you can bring out, you know, and it's for free. There's a lot of spells in the game when you hit around 7 that just close a game out. And if you can go and dig up whatever you want, that's going to be nutty. I think this card is very powerful. I don't know if it's exactly broken, but it's going to see obviously a lot of play in your commander builds. Really, really cool, interesting card there. I like it. Then we have Garrison Cat and Spontaneous Flight. Some common cards to go over. Now, you never know. Some of these common cards can really branch out and be something big, but these 2 are probably not that. We got our Garrison Cat. When Garrison Cat dies, create a 1/1 white human soldier creature token. It's a 1/1. We've seen cards very similar to this that already do exist in Standard, and they're 1-drops. Very similar cards, different kind of creature token. Spontaneous Flight for 3. Target creature gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Put a flying counter on it. I love these flying counters, these first strike counters, these whatever, the trample counters. I love them, man. Double strike counter, is that something yet? If not, man, I don't think they'd print that. That's kind of crazy. But I like what I see a lot here. And that's a cute little art there for that Wolfie. All right, then we have Sea Dasher Octopus. I have covered this card before, but we're going to go over it one more time. Only because it's a different art. For 3, creature octopus gets to mutate for deuce. It has flash. And of course, whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. I like that. I think that's pretty interesting. How much play is it going to see? A lot in the flash kind of strategy builds. Then we have Keep Safe, which is a powerful counter spell. I wish they wouldn't print crap like this. For 2, counter target spell that targets permanent you control. Draw a card. So yeah, basically like, anything that says the word target on it. Destroy target creature. Oh, nope, can't do that. And you get to draw a card. Why did they have to print this? We were doing so good. I thought we're going to get away from all the counter crap decks. And then they printed Keep Safe. And I'm like, son of a... Moving along. Then we have Necropanther and Necropanther. Just different art right here. It's got the mutate ability. For 4, it's 3 to bring out. Cat Nightmare. Meow, watch out. Whenever this creature mutates, return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not to your hand, to the battlefield. I like that a lot. I wish this thing had a lifelink on it as well. Would that be asking too much? Yeah, that'd probably be asking a lot. That'd be a really good card then. But I do like this card. I think it's pretty interesting. Very, very cool kitty. Narset of the Ancient Way. You guys want to see some crazy stuff? Now, this isn't broken, but it's pretty cool. It's a very powerful card. Kind of reminds me of Teferi a little bit. So for 4, and for its +1, this is Narset. Now, you guys notice something? A lot of people are like, why is Narset all these different colors? What's going on? Look at the history of Narset. She has been like almost, I think, she may have been every color already. Like, she is like one with nature, one with everything. Like, she just keeps like, she's a mutator herself. She just keeps taking on like different colors and magic. That's just how Narset is. It's insane. So Narset gets a +1. You gain 2 life. Add a blue, a red, or a white. Spend this mana only to cast a non-creature spell. Pretty cool, pretty cool. Right, I'm going to show you how this card gets a little ridiculous. -2, draw a card. Then you may discard a card. When you discard a non-land card this way, Narset of the Ancient Ways deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or planeswalker. That's pretty cool, man. For -6, you get an emblem with. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, this emblem deals 2 damage to any target. Is this the one I had it on? Or is it the next one? No. Yeah, this is not the one that gets crazy. We're getting there. Very interesting, powerful card. You're, of course, going to want to run decks that can utilize that ability, you know? Anything that with the draw card and discard a card, and whenever you discard that card this way, Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage equal. Why don't I think of this was something else? I got totally thrown off here. Narset of the Ancient Way deals damage equal to that card's converted mana cost to target creature or player. Okay, it's a very annoying card. It's going to see a lot of play. Why did I think this was something else? We're going to get to that card. There's one that's really busted. This is not it. It's not the Planeswalker. But again, Narset looking pretty slick. It's like a Teferi. It's like a mini Teferi. It's nuts. Then we have Frillneck Fashionista. That was weird, huh? All right, and Sonorous Howlbounder. I like this, the menace mechanic, man. For 3, when Frillneck Fashionista, I don't even know if that's its name. I think someone might be trolling me. Enters the battlefield, put a menace counter on target non-human creature you control. It can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. Wow. They had to say non-human. They really did have to say non-human on a lot of these. Because if they didn't say non-human, all these cards basically have human on it. If you notice that, I mean, it'd be pretty nuts. And this deck would take over standard, I guarantee. These human decks, you know. But yeah, it can't be a human. So it can't be blocked except by 2 or more creatures. And then for 3, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with menace. Counters everywhere. Everything has counters. It's just counters galore, man. This other card, Sonorous Howlbounder, is a 3-drop. Menace. Each creature you control with menace can't be blocked except by 3 or more creatures. This is why I like covering these uncommon and common cards as well, because that's a really cool card. If it has menace on it, 3 or more. Not 2 now, 3 or more. That's insane. You got 3 creatures out. For them to block those 3 creatures, they need 9 creatures to block. That gets out of control, man. How impactful this is going to be, these decks, I don't know, but they are looking like a really fun budget build with the menace ability. I mean, I'm loving what I'm seeing here. Next, we have the broken card. We have one of the broken cards. This is just one. This is just only one of them. We're getting to another one. This is Song of Creation. It's a 4-drop. Enchantment. You may play an additional land on each of your turns. It's going to get nuts, man. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. Draw 2 cards. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards. That's pretty awesome. That's any spell. A 1-drop. Draw 2 cards. That's awesome. At the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Now, you would think that's a downside, but there's so much you can do to bring stuff back from the graveyard. It's ridiculous. Not only that, but it's almost like they're making a push to bring back Storm. You can almost bring Storm back into this, man. Cards that will benefit with this card is like Underworld Breach. Each downland card in your graveyard has escape. The escape cost is equal to the card's mana cost plus exile 3 other cards from your graveyard. At the beginning of the end step, sacrifice Underworld Breach. Then you have Rael the Everwise. Gets +1/+0 for each instant or sorcery card in your graveyard. Whenever you discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. And then a fun card to go with this, because you're discarding so much, is Bag of Holding. For 1, whenever you discard a card, exile that card from your graveyard. For 2, draw a card, then discard a card. The 4, sacrifice Bag of Holding. Return all exiled cards with Bag of Holding to their owner's hand. That is cool. So Bag of Holding is hold on to all these freaking cards. You're just discarded out, you know. Very cool synergy here. So this is a card definitely to watch out for. Very busted-like. And it wouldn't surprise me if outside of Standard, people break the crap out of this card with some nasty combo and synergy. I'm just waiting for it to happen. I guarantee you it will, baby. I guarantee you it will. Then we have Eerie Ultimatum, which is another busted card. You gotta wonder, what were they thinking? Wizards, are you crazy, man? Now, this is definitely gonna be more so for Commander players, but I'm sure I'm gonna run this card. I'm sure you're gonna try running this card in Standard also. It's not always about winning, you know, or in rank, you know. It's about having some fun and building some fun decks. Like, that's the best Magic I have, is getting out of the meta and just playing with a friend or something. You know, I've been teaching one of my friends lately how to play, and he's been loving it, man. But this is like really, really, really cool that you have a card that returns any number of permanent cards with different names from your graveyard to the battlefield. Not your hand, but to the battlefield. What? That's insanity, man. I am totally loving this. You know how many powerful cards there are? It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter. You can return any of those cards that are in your graveyard. You can just, hey, I'm going to make a deck and just self-mill. Me. Now I'm going to get a bunch of busted cards, and I'm going to freaking just play them all for free. Well, not for free, but I'm going to get them all back out and just smack them out of the graveyard. You get Emrakul. No, okay, that's banned in a lot of formats. But, you know, just something really big, a crazy Eldrazi just comes back. As long as there's 3 different names on them, man, you can return them all. Any large, crazy cards, you know, just come on back. The card that steals, man, your Agent of Treachery, you know, just whatever. Now, you would have to be running probably something that like a mana rock that makes all your lands, you know, being able to tap for any color or something, because that is a very, very challenging mana cost to get out, you know. But this is definitely going to be geared more for Commander. But holy friggin' busted shenanigans, man. Any large, crazy creatures. The list goes on. I could have thrown up a billion cards, but it's really cool. Then we have Majestic Auricorn and Splendor Mare. 3-drop on the right to Elk Unicorn with lifelink, very basic, cycling for 2. When you cycle Splendor Mare, put a lifelink counter on target creature you control to 3/3. Not bad. Then you got Majestic Auricorn. Molech Boroform. Alright, mutate for 4. Vigilance. Whenever this creature mutates, you gain 4 life. You can get a lot of life with this card. But yeah, again, it's going to be more so, you know, like in, this is not going to make it into competitive decks. Unless there's some kind of crazy trigger ability where gaining 4 life matters, you know. It won't really do you a whole lot of good. But cool card nonetheless. And then we have Ruinous Ultimatum. Destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. Hey, man, that's a one-sided board wipe. And that's destroy all non-land permanents your opponents control. Opponents! If you're playing Brawl, if you're playing Commander, EDH, bam, that annihilates everyone else's, all your opponents' stuff, permanents, except yours. Yours stays. That's a very powerful card right there. Ruinous Ultimatum. I'm loving these extremely powerful cards. Not even powerful. You hear that, guys? Powerful. I'm loving it, man. I love this rain of arrows shooting over, too. And this kind of mutated creature going on here. Really, really, really cool. These cards are just bonkers. Skycat is Sovereign. Here's another card for Deuce and Azorius colors. Elemental Cat, flying. Skycat Sovereign gets +1/+1 for each other creature you control with flying. I'm loving it. That can get nutty, man. And if this thing just gets through, you drop a bunch of, there's like 2 1-drop flyers, or at least there's 1 I know of. In standard right now, there might be 2. And then when you get into 2 drops, there's quite a few flyers there. Just splash a bunch of cheap freaking flyers down, man, and go to town on your opponent. For 4, create a 1/1 white cat bird creature token with flying. This could make those really fast, crazy decks, you know, that deliver the birds, the freaking no angels though. We didn't get any angels, did we? I don't think we got any angels. Kind of sad about that. That's a tear. Hope we get to see an angel soon. They like fell off, you know. But man, an elemental cat with flying, it's pretty neat. And it's elemental and it's a cat. There's a lot of stuff you could do with these cards. I'm liking it. I think it's sweet. It's only a 1/1 though, which is the downside. But man, it gets big quick. You get like 4 flyers out. This thing's a 5/5 with flying. Pretty nasty. Kaheera, the orphanguard, is a 3-drop. This card could make elementals a thing again. Make it viable in standard. Again, I know. Companion, each creature card in your starting deck is a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast card. I think this is phenomenal. This is a very, very cool, I don't want to say powerful anymore, very cool card, man. It's cool cats, bro. It's cool cats, man, you dig? It's got vigilance. Each other creature you control that's a cat, elemental, nightmare, dinosaur, or beast gets +1/+1 and has vigilance. Wow, we just boosted all those different freaking forms. Do you know how many cards? That's like, I'm not going to carry it away here, but that's like almost half of the cards that are creatures they printed in IKORIA. That's a lot. So this thing benefits like a lot of stuff. Very cool. I'm liking that we're seeing the counter stuff back and the flying counter stuff. All, you know, like we put like a 1/1 counter on something and all that. But I'm also liking a whole lot of crap that we might get elementals back into this. I'm liking the mutate. I think this is one of the coolest sets, man, that we have seen in a while. And I haven't said that, and I don't think I ever called a set cool. But if any set in Magic is cool, baby, besides Urza's block, this set is cool. All right, like it is a freaking powerful set. So here's just some like examples of some elementals you could run with it. But man, IKORIA takes the cake for me right now. I really enjoy very large creatures. I enjoy you guys watching. I enjoyed the Commander spoilers. I've just been really happy all over the place with this set lately, man. I've been having a great week with the IKORIA. And yeah, I haven't been more hyped than in my life. This is really cool. I just hope I can get my hands on some friggin' boxes. I don't know how that's going to go because if they're delaying the release of all these boxes, you know, it might be tough to get hands on them. But anyway, I thank you so much, guys, for tuning in. Definitely take a moment, hit that like button. Yeah, and that means a lot to me. I appreciate it, guys. Yeah, go IKORIA. Check out these other videos. There's a lot of other spoilers and busted cards out there you can go over. A lot of decks I built lately. Yeah, appreciate you guys. Take care of yourself. Skadoosh. Yourself.